drifted alarmingly in the betting was, Felsted in the morning continued to drift. It was late on the exchanges to lose. It was something you'd see in a Dick Francis novel, Charles Buttons.
The ground is soft. It's
heavy.
It's soft on times.
It's heavy.
Okay.
Hello, a very warm welcome. It's the Easter Bunny time. It's the Sunday sermon. I hope you're all feasting away on your Rolo eggs, or your Cadbury's caramel eggs, something like that.
15 quid an egg nowadays, isn't it? 15 quid for a fucking Easter egg. What a game.
How's my two favourite gentlemen, Jonas Lang and Chris?
Terrible.
Yeah, I agree. We've had a bit of a mare, really, this Easter weekend. It's been an Easter disaster. It's a horror movie of punting. So much so.
Jesus had it bad. What about us? No fucking rights about us, do they?
I mentioned to both of you today that I've got to stay in the game. You have to keep yourself in the game at this rate. There's so many seconds and crossbars and bad rides.
I thought it'd all gone badly this weekend, and I opened my Kinder Surprise this morning and somebody had put dog shit in it.
Lovely.
And anyway, I hope you're all doing well, listeners. I hope you're doing better than us. It does happen. You get everyone booming on Twitter. It's not always like that, this game. It certainly can be very painful. Clubber Lang has entered our room this weekend.
Again.
Indeed, yes. Some of you will be enjoying the fact that we've done our brains. Bit of Schadenfreude. Who doesn't like a bit of Schadenfreude down again, especially if you think we're cunts? On to reviewing Friday and Saturday. We'll just concentrate on Dubai. John, all-weather finals day was our disasters. Anything you're taking forward for our listeners that may be worthy of a mention?
From the all-weather finals, I did think 5,000 to 1 was extremely impressive in that sprint, coming from the back, which hasn't been a preferred tactic over the recent weeks anyway.
No.
Tip-top form as a 2-year-old, then sort of went right off the boil, really. And it was interesting, I thought, when they interviewed O'Shane after the race. He said it's taken the trainer a while to get this horse back. And this could be one that's still got a fair bit of improvement in him racing, ratings-wise, you know. At one point he was rated 110. He's only won off like 98 there. Given a bit of improvement, he could maybe go higher than the 110, you know. I saw a lot of promise in that run. I mean, he travelled like an absolute treat.
Andrew Balding's runners at the minute, they're catching fire. I mean, what is he, 24%? And running them in top races as well. It's a ludicrous period for Andrew Balding. He's definitely got them in top nick. I take your point as well, because I wonder if running in listed company and group company just knocked his duck off a bit.
Yeah.
I think, obviously, it beat Blackrod, and then it was second to Alchemy as a youngster in the Orridill meeting, what do you call it? Mill Reef, that's the one.
Yeah.
The Mill Reef. Then they ran it in the bloody Dewhurst. Then at 3, as soon as it had a couple of preps, it was straight into Group 2, listed. Didn't miss a dance in that respect. And then back into sort of top handicap company when they were failing at that. And I reckon it had its duck knocked off for a bit, because we know how hard it is. When you get to 3 figures as an horse, you've got to be on your A game all the time. And some of these horses struggle with that. But like you said, a little bit of leniency now, and his confidence is back. He's beat Batal Dubai. He's pissed up against Misty Grey, confirmed all-weather performers. And yeah, nothing not to like, mate.
The other one I'd flag up that wouldn't be as obvious would be a Carl Burke horse called Lochaber.
Yeah.
That ran at Chelmsford. Now, Carl Burke's horses, I mentioned to yourself, I think they've been looking in absolutely fantastic shape. He's been getting them to the track looking absolutely superb. This one didn't. Looked about 3 to 4 weeks behind, I would suggest.
Yeah.
Certainly didn't look tight for this race. Tried to lead, showed reasonable enough cruising speed to suggest all the ability's still there, but when lack of fitness told, went out pretty quick. I think you give this one another 2 to 3 weeks and pops up somewhere that's front-end friendly, I think you could have a right bet on your hand.
To boost what you're saying as well, that race is extremely warm. The winner is going to be 90. The second has got races in it for sure. It's really strong form. The winner is an absolute brute. Will probably go up 9, maybe more for that, up to 78, but he'll win 2 or 3 Brunel Nation, the winner. So with John, were you liking the 6th? Because he wasn't quite right. That's a nice little steer for people, that. So yeah, John, I concur with what you're saying there. And it's always good when you get a nice paddock note like that. So thanks for that, mate. On to Saturday, Dubai.
Yeah. Do less, I would say.
First of all, I'll start by saying, what a queer meeting. Although you can't say that in Saudi.
Now look, we've got some of this later on.
Get it in early. Anyway, I thought this was rather odd. I'm busting to know what you think about Tower of London because, as you know, I backed this anti-post for the St. Ledger, and I was a bit disappointed with it, I'll be honest. This so far, it won in, was it Saudi or something? But yesterday, it just blew me away. I just thought, that's an incredible performance.
I got the impression things hadn't gone smoothly for this horse since the run in the Bahrain Trophy at Newmarket, because I know quite a lot of horses would go straight to the Ledger, but I felt Aidan would have got another run into this lad because if you remember, that race was really falsely run. They didn't have a race; they only raced for the last 2.5 furlongs. And I think he would have got another run to really put an edge on that horse for the Ledger. And I don't think it ran that badly to get beaten 3 3/4 by a really good horse who continuous. So was proper on the upgrade at the time,
True, yeah.
I felt after that, the 2-bar-1 on soft maybe stretched him a bit anyway. I was pleased to say they kept him in training, to be honest, because I thought, there is more to come from this horse. Because like yourself, I was impressed with him that day, Marquis. I don't think it was his fault he got beat. So,
Ryan had an off day, I think.
Yesterday, I thought this was like the culmination of all the hints he'd been dropping. Because to me, he looked like the type of horse that could head for a Coronation Cup rather than a Gold Cup even.
Yes.
Because of the turn of foot he showed.
Well, that was to my cost. I put in an in-running lane, thinking short price anyway, and it was out of his ground. I just thought, too far back here, Ryan.
Yeah.
But now it payout time.
There's two theorists. Well, I said there's 2 horses in that race made up ground from the back. There was Tower of London, that was far enough back, and Savannah's Knight of Andre Fabre's. Now, that one is a thorough stare. Needless to say, that didn't make up the ground as well as Tower of London.
Yeah.
But I thought that was significant from both of those, actually. Especially Tower of London. I thought that marked him down as a pretty decent horse.
So are you saying then, if you can go over to John Magnier's for a cup of coffee, are you saying you would go back in trip rather than, say, a Gold Cup horse?
It wouldn't put me off him to see him going back in trip. I mean, put it this way, if he turned up in the Yorkshire Cup, we'd all back him, wouldn't we?
100%.
That's 2 furlongs.
And if it travelled well in that and pissed up, you'd think they would think about Coronation, wouldn't you, after that?
It depends what they do with their other options, of course, but you don't see why he wouldn't turn up either there or maybe the Hardwick. Because they've got the other thing with the Gold Cup, haven't they, that you wouldn't have thought they'd run 2 to have them battling it out.
No, but definitely he's one that blew me away in terms of performance. At 225 race, the Golden Sheen, I want you to tell me what your paddock note for Tuz, the winner.
Neck on this Tuz is like a fucking bull.
What do you mean by that? A very thick neck?
Yeah, fucking super strong, yeah. Look like Bluto from the Popeye cartoon.
Is that a good sign, Do you like...
Oh, yeah, strong, aren't they?
Big, thick neck. Like a bouncer kind of thing.
He's not a sprinter, I mean, obviously you'd be a bit concerned if he was going so mad. But, that sort of structure reeks of explosive power, doesn't it? Like power lifters and things like that,
There you go. A good thick neck John likes, like a bull. Prized bull, big kahunas.
He's a gelding, he has no kahunas. Just shriveled up and got into his fucking neck.
That's enough fun, Tuz. What a beautiful sight it was to see silver-haired Bob. Locks flowing. Was he baff at the winner?
Laurel River was What's the B stand? Was it Benji Seymour?
Seymour, yeah. They'd got the carrots, haven't they, Mr. Seymour?
8.5 length winning, something like that generally suggests there's a carrot or tail gone in, doesn't it?
Why were I thinking it were Bob Baffert trained?
Judgment colours?
Possibly. He were Arrogate, weren't he?
Yeah.
I've had a brain fart there. I've been thinking it's Bob Baffert. Yeah. No, I don't know where I've got that.
He had Newgate.
Seymour, what we say, is that Dukes?
I mean, luckily, we don't have to care till November, do we?
No.
I mean, fuck knows. One of them, innit?
It weren't stopping, were it? But what a kick that place is, though.
It stopped eventually. I mean, it stopped about now, I think, if it left it alone.
Coming to its final lap now, yeah.
Yeah.
It looked to have plenty of endurance in it, didn't it?
Oh,
What a farce, winning one of the world's richest Group 1s by...
when Dick Turpin did that London to York ride, he must have joused up.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah.
do that, could you?
No. Or still had energy to go and catch horses and carts and...
Yeah, black breast on the gear.
Some of your questions on the weekend, we'll get in now. Dupont Tom mentioned the Bob Baffert effect. He says, what is the expiry date on the Bob Baffert?
Depends what it says on the bottle, doesn't it, I suppose?
Bob got any juice? I don't know. I'm not following the international scene very much.
Now he's been done, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, massively. It's been done multiple times.
Whatever he's done, he must have done it like within the expiry period, because if it had expired, he wouldn't have got done. So,
are we saying that Jungle Juice Bob, he can come back at any point? I mean, surely it's whether you get the gear in it. Some trainers will get the gear and others won't. I mean, we can't hide the fact this goes on. You can't point fingers because you haven't got the evidence, but we know it goes on because it just does. It's been proven in the past that people have used cobalt and cobra venom and cocaine and all sorts of shit.
If it's not going on, horses are growing extra legs and we're not noticing.
Well, this is it. So I don't know. It's an impossible question. I mean, we know, I've said before on this show about Seth Fishley going down, doing time for it in America because he was supplying drugs that couldn't be identified by testers, even tested after the race. So credit, so look, who knows? I don't know. It's a murky world. When there's prize money involved, it's a murky world. And speaking of prize money, Richard Ryan of Team Valley doesn't think that prestige of British racing will stop an exodus from top owners, John.
No shit, Sherlock.
No, agree.
Well, they're selling them, aren't they? You know what I mean? I mean, it's not like people's hanging on in there. He's waited a while to up this trap, hasn't he? We've been banging on about this for 3 years.
Surely as an owner, yes, of course you want to win a Guineas and a Derby. To be honest, I don't think we've got much else. I think we've got the Guineas, we've got the Derby. It's very prestigious to win such races because history you can't erase, despite several governments trying to do this. It's the kind of thing where Culmores are always going to want Guineas and Derby winners because it's valuable for their breeding process. So yeah, of course, that's never going to change. But when you get like sort of secondary owners that aren't Culmore, that put plenty into the game, buy expensive horses, and they see that they can win, the sort of money on offer in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Australia, Hong Kong, to a degree the US, hence Ben Curtis, the jockey staying out in the US. The lads just won a Group 1 in Santa Anita and probably got more commission off that than he would riding for 3 months in the UK in one race.
He get less earache as well because he was riding for Gobby Rodge, wasn't he?
Racing really has got a panic here because we said on a recent show, didn't we? We were surprised at the amount of jockeys that aren't going away for the winter, aren't trying to ply the trade in the US or Australia or Japan or the Far East, because why wouldn't you? You're mad to stay riding in the winter in the UK. Mad. Absolutely mad. But yeah, we've touched on it, definitely. With that in mind, Mark T's been on. He said, in the current direction of travel, how long has racing got left?
Oh, I don't think we need to worry. I mean, Julie's got this, hasn't she? She's racing's Yoko. Oh, no.
Yes. Yes.
Put a number on it. What we saying before it becomes impossible?
5-year critical for jumps racing.
Yeah.
Jumps racing's critical in 5 years, I'd say.
What about for punting, John? With the affordability, etc.
If the affordability comes in unhindered, I think we'll be looking at like flapping rolls and fucking prison rolls for getting paid out in 2 years.
Yeah. Is that what you think, Chris? About 2 years?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, if with the proviso that if it continues without any further alteration, then 2 years, I think max.
That's interesting.
If you're punting and not copying your documents up, you need to buy a gun.
Yeah, you do.
Of course,
otherwise, you're not getting paid.
Of course, I'm of the same opinion. So, a couple more racing questions before we get on to some BHA stuff and then some fun. BHA fudging the whip rules to allow Derek Fox to ride in the Grand National. Is this decision just for perception purposes, says Richard Lee? But then they've announced it, so how can it be perception purposes? Because if Guardian picks up on it, they'll just write in the Guardian that they reckon they're fiddling the rules so Derek Fox can ride in the National.
I think the last thing they want is perception purposes, because if we were going down the way the BHA want the game perceived, they would want to see their whip rules being applied stringently and aggressively, I would suggest.
Yeah.
So I don't think perception's got anything to do with it. I think they're just trying to quietly not be too controversial.
It's obviously depriving somebody like Derek Fox a huge payday, and obviously to help him in his life. I mean, if you deprive him of a prize like that, then rules are rules. I don't know. But there we go. Funny one now from Luke. He says, "Who gets more appearances in public in 2024, Constitution Hill or Kate Middleton?"
Kate Middleton, I think. At least they did an AI video of her, didn't they? They haven't done that for Constitution Hill.
AI rules these days, so artificial intelligence, I'm sure, will provide more videos of Kate Middleton than Nicky Henderson might have to resort to doing that and inquire how to get an AI version of Constitutional.
That'll never run again, will it? I think either it's fucking dead.
It took a turn for the worst, hasn't it? I mean, they're ended up in hospital now. I mean,
that's finished. That'll never run again.
5-2 for next year's champion hurdle. The chasing career's in tatters.
Yeah.
Well, that were interesting because they did a schooling session last summer, didn't they, in private? Yeah. And the fact that they've already said, right, it's champion hurdle, it must have jumped like an absolute
camel.
I don't think it's jumped. I think it's gone straight through them.
Yeah.
It's gone under them, yeah.
I think it's sad. I mean, we're talking about a very good horse here, and obviously it's sad for the racing public and fans, of course. But no, I think we have to be brutal and say that there's something not quite right here.
There's loads of times, though, doesn't it? I mean, the hype machine went into overdrive on this, but there's loads of horses that show immense promise, and then for some reason or another they don't go on. And it's no good getting stained about it. This sort of shit happens. The flesh and blood. And
well, look at Desert Crown, for example. So similar thing. Very.
Thought he was going to win everything, wouldn't you? And then this is what happens.
Very, very talented animal, and then just things happen, and that's that. Whoever trains him. Do you know what? It's hard to feel sorry for Popeye. He's one of them I like to get at because he's annoying. Ever since that Lydia interview, I've despised the man. But I do, in a way, sort of feel a little bit for him here because he's getting a lot of stick, I think, from certain people in the media. And, well, like, what can you do? If the horse is fucked, it's fucked, isn't it? That's that. But there you go. So, like you said, why would he have turned up at Cheltenham, or why would he turn up for Aintree or Punchestown if the horse is completely fucked? I mean, even talk of Aintree or Punchestown is laughable from some people.
Yeah.
Not going to either. No chance. No. Zero. Like you said, if it does run again, I mean, it's like the Monsignor, John.
Yeah. Every year. This is it. He's working now.
How's my anti-post voucher looking?
It is. It's the Monsignor of racing. It's going to be like that. It's like, where's Constitution Hill? And then you'll get another.
He's come back from his owner's place in great shape this year.
Yeah. He's done a nice piece of work last week, yeah.
Another typed up update on a brother printer, Chris.
Yeah. Staples special, 90 quid, yeah.
We're going to move on. Just a promo, really, and it's a deserved promo for Go Racing in Yorkshire. And I want to highlight the value here. We're not getting paid for this or anything. We do it because I love a racing as well. And such value for money it is. And to put it into perspective with other offers up and down the country, this is by far and away the best in our view, and always has been, even though we might be a little biased because we're Yorkshire people and we have outside toilets, Chris. But Go Racing in Yorkshire...
That's just rubbish. That's rubbish. You're showing off now. You only watch it on a film. It's not real.
But Go Racing in Yorkshire, that's goracing.co.uk. I'm giving you some prices here, and this is tremendous value. So it's £435 for a season ticket. So it lasts for a year. There's 182 racing fixtures for that, and you get free parking at all courses, barring the Donny Ledger meeting. And we know about Donny. We'd Adam Norman and his ham and piccalilli sandwiches down his socks. So forget Donny, they're cunts. Free parking everywhere. Grandstand and paddock entrance, this is for as well. You're not shoved in some shit enclosure somewhere. It's freedom of the city at every course, including the festivals. What value that is. 435 quid for 182 fixtures, Chris. You can certainly eat value there. I mean, that is...
You can. That is terrific, though, isn't it? I mean, it's unparalleled. I can't think of any other set of courses that offer anything like that. Can you? Was there anything nearby?
Nothing of that value. 725 quid as well. Say if there's two of you, so you and your partner or you and your friend. Again, so they're knocking money off for a two-person season ticket. Tremendous. Right, and just to highlight that they don't rip you off at the festivals either, like Cheltenham, who are absolute disgrace. The Dante meeting, again, top class racing every year, the Dante meeting. 3 days, 99 quid in the county stand.
Yeah.
Right? 33 quid a ticket in the best stand there is, right? And 59 quid in the grandstand and paddock for 3 days. Astonishing value. The flagship meeting, the EBO, 4 days, 235 for the county grandstand. So for 4 days,
60 quid.
60 quid. The best mate enclosure at Cheltenham is more than that. That's the one in the middle of the track where everyone goes because they can't afford the club. That's the best. Grandstand is and paddock is 115 quid. Sorry, 115 pounds for 4 days. So less than 30 quid for grandstand and paddock at the flagship meeting. And the flexibility of the deal also, they also do 3 days at the EBO. So if you don't want to do the Saturday, 190 quid for 3 days and 97 quid in grandstand. It's just phenomenal. It's just
good.
Ridiculous.
It is good.
So Go Racing in Yorkshire. If you live in Yorkshire, what a present it is for somebody. And I promise you, it's not a plug. Charlotte, who heads Go Racing Yorkshire, has not asked me to do this. I've done this out of just kindness of my own heart because I believe it's worth supporting. Right, on to the next topic. I'm sure you two have got plenty to say because I refuse to watch this shit. I refuse to watch it. So we're going about diversity. And I believe you guys have watched a couple of videos regarding the BHA on a diversity video or something. And Vanessa Binney Ryle doing one or something.
That was a couple of years old, wasn't it, John? I think that one.
Yeah.
Right. Right,
Yeah,
Benny,
and that garnered 210 views in 2 years. But that tells you how popular that is.
John, I want to bring you on this because I want you to explain to me what all this is about.
Well, basically, it's like I'd hesitate to maybe call it a flagship program that the BHA have implemented, but they've gone to the extent to produce some e-learning on diversity and inclusion. The e-learning, you're just inundated with what you might call woke ideology. We're introduced to a cartoon character called Edie, whose role is to guide us through the training.
Pedo the Clown, I think it was called, not Edie, wasn't it?
Edie's not a neutral and impartial guide. Edie tells us, I am non-binary. I don't identify with being either a man or a woman. I prefer people to use the pronouns they or them. Yes. Edie goes on to tell us over the course of the training course to challenge your own views and behaviours. So, I mean, you kind of know which way this is going, don't you? You know?
God. You did better than me. I only got past 5 minutes. I thought, I can't watch this shit. Well, it's just awful.
If you love a sport, as I do racing, you have to keep speaking up. You know, you have to keep fighting the people who you feel are harming your sport and by knock-on effect harming you. And I mean, I've watched the BHA get rid of the tote without replacing it, enter into the morally corrupt gross profits tax deal, the idiotic changes to the whip rules, tacitly indicating that their own stewards need guidance that you give to a 5-year-old on its first day at school. They're stood by and watched exchanges flourish without having the commercial savvy to get in there and compete. And now we've got this creeping cancerous slow death of the sport that they're allowing with the affordability checks. Greater and greater acknowledgement of animal rights nutcases.
Mm.
And now we've got Jolie and the paper shufflers there all over this diversity and inclusion malarkey, all to create that they're busier than a toe-twatted hooker.
Mm. Because the big issue of affordability, right, which is effectively causing the demise of the sport, is just too big and too difficult an issue. So you're right. So instead of sitting there doing nothing, let's busy ourselves with non-issues, issues that have no relevance to 99% of race goers. Nobody gives it a second thought because nobody cares. It's not that not people are indifferent to trans people or people from different backgrounds. It's just that racing just always rubbed along. People have just got on from. That's the beauty of racing. People from lords, ladies, paupers, whatever. Everybody is equal above and under the turf. That's the whole basis of racing. Is classless when you're in the weeds, when you're in the trenches fighting the bookmakers. There isn't an issue. There's no issue that needs to be addressed here.
I mean, as you'll say, Chris, nothing for months on end about the important stuff, the stuff threatening the very future of the sport, that they're temporary custodians of, which I think they tend to forget. But they're all over a non-issue like this. I mean, please, listeners, get in touch if any of you can remember the last time anyone at the races asked you if you fucked men, women, or lobsters.
No.
Because I can't.
But the point is, John, you see, it's as we said before, you can see this is a grift for somebody. There will have been an external consultant that's been paid off.
It's worked before. Harrington was CEO of British Cycling when they implemented their non-binary and transgender policy, and she worked closely with Stonewall on that. Now they can do it again. It's an easy win, this, in the corporate world. You let the others do all the work, you sneak it in as a directive with your own firm, and then if there's a big stink about it, you can wash your hands of it. And it's just something else to pad your CV with.
Precisely, that's it. Couldn't summarise that better. That's exactly it.
It is. I mean, this is how me and the producer feel, is that when we attend sporting events and we're seeing all this messaging, political messaging, if you like, I call it political, in terms of LGBTQ, whatever, add another letter to it, and diversity issues, like thrust upon you, when all I've done is I'm just going to watch a game. And it's the same when I go to racing. All I want to do is I don't see colour in any particular form. If you're good enough to do the job, it's meritocracy rather than.
Well, you see, now when you don't see colour, there's somebody on board with this e-learning training, this American diversity nutcase called Verna Myers, who advocates actually not just treating black people as you would and not seeing colour. She actually advocates staring at awesome black people.
It's critical race theory, isn't it? That's what it is. That's what
she
it's called.
Actually looks forward to a time when we can comfortably say Grandma is a bigot around the Christmas dinner table, can you believe? That's the type of people that's on board here.
This is scary stuff. People say on the other side of the coin might disagree with us vehemently and call us dinosaurs, but as I've said, years of living on this earth. Right, I've been watching football now since I was sort of 5 years old, standing on the terraces to sitting down when we had all seaters, and I can honestly say, right, whilst I've witnessed racial abuse to players, and I have witnessed that, I have never ever in my entire life witnessed, like John's highlighted, anyone asking sexual orientation or anything like that. Nothing. I've heard nothing. In how many years?
Because in the real world that doesn't happen. Nobody.
The people behind this, right? The people behind this are actually guilty of doing exactly what they say you shouldn't do. They stereotype racing people because they talk about the reasons why people don't go racing. Oh, it's full of posh people who look down their noses at others.
Exactly.
That's stigmatising racing's current followers, the people that are paying their wages.
Yeah,
You know?
A-
But of course, the
a-
BHA has
absolutely.
formed for this as a pro-done affordability checks and
Everybody
road traffic.
supports policies and procedures that call out people that abuse people from different backgrounds or with different characteristics. Nobody opposes that. But as John's and you've said, it's irrelevant what your sexual orientation is. That never comes up. Nobody supports people being singled out for abuse, but they're trying to create a problem that isn't there. The notion of a world of people in racing where people from different backgrounds are pointed out and humiliated, and that simply doesn't happen because
I
most
mean,
people just rub along.
this isn't just like a sex thing either. They talk about microaggressions.
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
it's a no-no to hold the door open for somebody in a wheelchair
No,
because that can be
it's
seen as
nonsense.
passive aggressive.
Yeah, these people
You
don't
know?
live in. They live in a bubble. That's
And
in the
they're
real world. You
encouraging
do open
people
the door for people.
that use this e-learning to report hate crimes, including to the police, and the state other spots, like when the England team were taking the knee. Now, that was politically incendiary. The country was split down the middle over that. And they're classing that as an exemplar behaviour.
It's rubbish. Absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
We're led by a kind of an elite, aren't we? An elite that feel that they're intellectually and morally superior, and that we can't behave properly without their intervention. That's why all these policies flourish, because they've been designed by people who know better, people who know what's good for everybody else.
What I thought was one of the worst parts at the end of this webinar was David Jones, the BHA Diversity and Inclusion Lead. He tells staff he met a trans person once who informed him that lots of trans people commit suicide. Well, that's unfounded, unevident scaremongering based on nothing more than hearsay. And the same fella was actually saying when people select a trainer when they're coming into the sport and they're going to select a trainer where they're going to put the horse, he suggested that it shouldn't be about how many winners he can do, which is strange speak for somebody high up in racing anyway, how many he can do. He actually said it like that. But what the trainers' views are on environment, sustainability, and what
Don't
his
give
or
a
her
shit.
diversity policy is.
Couldn't care less.
Bigger trainers can get somebody in the office to write that sort of shit up for them in the morning,
Yeah.
Your smaller ones, where the wife's doing the admin and they've maybe got 3 lads covering 12 horses, they can't get it done. And the BHA is going to be all over them with stuff like
But
this.
why should they get it done?
Yeah,
What
and
possible use
he
is it?
points out that if you want, Stonewall will come and audit you.
They fucking
Stonewall
will.
will audit a racing yard. Jesus fucking Christ.
The BHA need to get a grip, but they won't do because this
They
is all by design, and it's terrible for yards. Really, we don't need this shit. It's shit, and we need to call it out as shit. And if you disagree, that's fine. That's your opinion, and,
Well,
and
get
you're
in
entitled
touch
to
if you think it's shit. If you think we're talking shit, and tell us why we're talking shit.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
List it out. We'll have a debate online, of course. And Jane Foy sort of backs this up. We are struggling with belief in the ability of stewards in the BHA if they can't understand basic facts. Man is a man, a woman is a woman, and we are fucked. The thing is with
amazing they didn't do enough for Bryony Frost, did they? With the Robbie Dunn thing, they were absolutely fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
What about actual women? What about biological women? If you think there is a problem with systemic sexism or prejudice in racing, focus on the 51% of the population, the rank and file people that keep the sport running, i.e. women, stable staff, etc. And let's have an initiative to try and to see what they think, rather than men in dresses.
The hilarious of it, Chris and John, I posted a video on Barstew's Twitter earlier this week regarding this fellow that stood in front of a council, if you like it, in our words, in America. He wanted them to legalise gambling in their jurisdiction, and there was a reason for it that. I keep backing these trans athletes. I keep backing Leah Thomas's big ass to win these swimming events that she's pissing up in America as a trans athlete. And it's like, this is my point. They're taking the piss. He's taking the piss, but he's doing it brilliantly, as in, I'll follow your policies, as in like trans, but let them keep doing it in sport, but I want to keep backing them.
Exactly. Yeah. He's highlighting the absurdity of it, isn't he?
The
Which
absurdity.
everybody knows how absurd it is. But, we are utterly powerless. We are voiceless. No one listens to us. And yet again, we're having views on which we've never really been consulted on, imposed on us. And it's affordability, this, and a raft of other things. We're just being told what to think. That's the problem.
Yeah, and that's it. And some people buy it, including major corporations of the BHA. So it's obviously difficult to fight back as a normal serf, if you like. Before we move on to the fun part of the show, that was a good topic to discuss, by the way, chaps. Some really good comments there. Greg, not the bad Greg from Stoke, the good Greg. Mine's a long hop on Twitter. He says that he's been Vickers bet have had him for a withdrawal and want him to produce his life story. They've even said deeds of the house, things like that.
Jeez, great.
Yep, this is incredible. Honestly, the level of demands for documentation, and as we stress on the Bastards, so it's
Call
like
it what it is, Lee. It's corruption, this.
Yes, it's a weekly reminder to never ever send documentation, no matter what, because what they will do, as we've said, they will use that documentation against you not to pay. They will come up with an excuse like a collusion or oh, well, who's that sent you money? We can see on your bank statement that a friend of yours has sent you £500. What's that about? What was that for? They will use it as anything just not to pay. Their behaviour is abhorrent. And I cannot defend any bookmaker in this dawn of time, including the independents. They're as bad in the end. They're all the same. It is what it is. So, Greg, I'm highlighting your case. Remember, never send statements or anything to any of these guys because, believe me, you will regret it long term. Funny now, we'll start off with the racing blogger. This is a good one. It was highlighted to me by, I'll leave him anonymous. I didn't notice this, but so you know when Blogger did his documentary on himself?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So, the Blogger documentary, it's like
Yes.
I wish I could suck my own cock.
Some people loved it, some people didn't, right? Which is fine. That's like, it's like Marmite, same as every yeah, whatever. That's not why I'm on here though. This is an interesting fact. I'm going to call Blogger the $6 million bot man. Right? There's a reason for this. His tweet on YouTube, on Twitter, has got 4.9 million views allegedly. 4.9 million views, only 2.3 thousand likes. So for 4.9 million views, you'd expect more likes than that for starters. Secondly, the actual video that he links to on his post on YouTube has only had 49,000 views. So, is Blogger a Bulgarian bot farmer? Is it Lee Majors?
We can rebuild him. Yes.
What do we think?
It's curious, isn't it? It is curious. I'm always deeply suspicious of all these so-called self-appointed influencers and the reach that they get. It's about the quality of interactions, isn't it? I'm sure there are clever ways in which you can boost your kind of reach and your numbers, but what kind of quality? Is it people in the Philippines that are clicking and liking, or is it people that are genuinely interested in racing? I'm doubtful.
Chris, isn't it something that if you can make yourself look big, it's a bit like survival. In what do animals do? They stand up tall and big when they face each other off. It's like, so what do humans do when they're trying to earn money?
Yeah.
Put a pair of socks down their undies.
Yeah, exactly. Wearing black and yellow striped tie.
John has me every time. Sometimes, so this is it. So he's trying to make himself look bigger to the people that give him the freebies and give him the oh god, he's got 4.9 million views. What a reach! And then go to him and apply and say, "Oh, can you promote this for us?" And
you find out that reach is a reach around.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So now you have to question whether he's probably got 140 odd thousand followers. Is he bought and paid for some of them? We don't know. It's subjective, but look, it's clear.
But he knows, Lee, that marketeers of even in large corporations, they just don't tend to dig into the quality of that kind of reach, do they? They look at the numbers, he'll provide prints, etc., and nobody validates that because it's just too much fucking effort. Right, so the number says 4 million. That'll do. They don't actually think, well, how many of those are genuinely the sort of customers that we want to reach? They don't look into that. Where are they located?
Then the myth snowballs, doesn't it?
Yeah, totally. Fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I agree. It kind of makes sense, all this. So look, we haven't got any proof of this, but
No, well, that's never stopped us.
we'll state that.
Should be our mission statement, that shouldn't it?
Yeah.
We have proof, but
We have zero proof.
With Richard Ingram's, when he was private eye, his motto was, "If it sounds true, let's publish it."
Why not? Exactly. Come on, man. You know, this is a bit iffy, isn't it? And at 49,000 views is all he's managed on YouTube. It's a bit disappointing for if that person's been viewed 4.9 million times.
Come
Right,
on.
we've highlighted that. Right, on to some funnies now. And obviously, you don't want to talk about racing. The listeners genuinely don't want us talking racing, do they?
Well, no, they don't know anything about it. That's the thing.
Stephen Thomas, good listener of the show, and always put some decent questions in. I'm not going to ask his racing questions because we've already done racing. But regards to Auguste Rodin, yeah, it was disappointing, but it's one of them. He disappointed in the Guineas and bounced back. We don't know with these things, but you can never back him, I suppose. But anyway, talking about some TV stuff. Favourite 70s TV theme tune? John first. John must have one.
John must have one.
Can I take two?
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
Greedy.
No, I couldn't split them, to be honest.
Go on.
First of all, there was Man in a Suitcase, and the other one was Joe 90.
Oh, Joe 90, yeah.
Not 70s though, were they? It said 70s, so I have to disqualify you, John. He said specifically 1970s.
Oh, Jesus.
60s, yeah, you didn't read the rules. No.
Yeah, Joe 90.
You need to go on a diversity course, I think. You made an assumption, you jumped, and you made yourself look a fool. You know, that's the problem.
Clearly rooted in the past, Chris.
Yeah.
You're a fucking dinosaur.
Yeah. You didn't read the question, did you?
No,
Always read the question.
Just went rushing in.
You did.
Chris, you must have something.
Well, I've researched it, Lee, because I actually read the question and did my homework, and all I could come up with was the outro music to the Sweeney. You know, the when it finished.
Yeah.
I thought that's really nice. Yeah, that would be my favourite 70s one.
That's quite like the intro music.
I hope I've got this right regarding years. When I raise your outro to the Sweeney, raise it with you with Francis Muckman and the Long Good Friday.
Yeah, that's a terrific piece of music, isn't it?
With old Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins, yeah.
That is. We've actually got
when Zed Jazz was out.
Zed
60s. Read the question, John.
That's Everton's walkout tune, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. It is.
60s again, eh?
Yeah, Frank Windsor and all that. Yeah, great.
I win that. But Stephen Thomas says he likes Van der Valk and the Persuaders.
Yeah, eye level Van der Valk. That's a great.
I even got the Persuaders wrong this morning when I was talking to Stephen on
the
Twitter.
Protectors. The Protectors.
I said, is that their John Carter? He said, fuck off back to the 60s.
That was with the good actor from America, weren't it?
Robert Vaughan, was it?
Robert Vaughan, yeah, he was really good.
He's good, yeah.
Good old shows there. Dick Davis adds on, he says here, Regan and Carter in today's Met Police discuss.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's my answer, probably. Yeah.
Right, this
is last long, would there?
I'll probably get called a racist for this. This is actual true story. You can check it out. You can. It's not some kind of. It's being reported. And so what happened? There was a detective in the Met Police a while back, and because he was arresting too many ethnic minorities, they told him to stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, So he was an expert. He was an undercover detective, and he was very good around stations at detecting crime, like petty theft. And he was obviously bringing a lot in. His boss has told him not to do that, and that's what. He quit. He quit his job. He just said, "Well, what's the point?
Yeah,
I'm there to stop crime, and you're telling me because of their ethnicity, I can't do it." Mm-hmm. This is the crazy world we live in. I mean, that's true. If somebody asks me for the citation or the link, I'll provide it. So,
they're crazy for making him stop, but he's crazy for packing it in. He could have just got in his squad car and sat outside the donut shop and got paid.
Yeah. That's American tops, isn't it?
Yeah, you see, this is John. You see,
The hustle, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, everything's political. That's the problem, and we laugh at it. But yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Everything is now political. You know, it's not about doing the role that the public pay you for as a public servant. It's
do you
also
remember
doing that role
discussion
within the
we
constraints and
had in the
ideology.
Wakeway? We had a discussion in the wake. A friend of ours, he's had a bet with another friend, £250 that this lad can shag a certain person. Now, my solution,
Yeah, I saw that.
my solution to that, to ease any worries whatsoever, was to send the young lady in question a photo of the man who's bet £250 on himself, detailing exactly what he's done, thereby ensuring you will never have to pay out and you can spend the £250 with total.
Yeah.
Because you're a bet. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, shrewdness. Right. Go on to some foodie stuff. Why do you like us reviewing food? I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it? They're all fucked up.
Yeah. So Damo O'Clock says McDonald's breakfast, yay or nay?
Yay. Yeah, the wraps. I like the wraps. I mean, nay. Don't you like them?
No.
Oh.
The producer, she's a veg.
Yeah.
She loves the egg and cheese
McMuffin meal. Yeah. With the old...
and the hash browns.
Surprised she didn't like the fucking beef burger that's there to it.
Oh, what's the matter with you, Philistine? It's lovely. McDonald's, the finest chefs around. Oh, fucking hell. What's going on here?
I do think, and this is trying to, the hash browns in McDonald's are pretty good, pretty damn good. Good a tasting as I've tasted in hash browns. What I would say is that Aldi do McDonald's hash browns replica.
Really?
Yeah, fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a top tip for our listeners there, right on the show. Aldi
hash brown has no place in life at any rate.
Oh,
yeah.
You do need a course, John. You need that course. Come on, BHA. Send us some guided learning material. We need
that. Comes on to Bert Doncaster that says hash browns or waffles, John. Would you rather have a waffle?
Oh, fuck's sake. Yes, probably. Right, I'd want the full works with it. Ice cream, syrup, and whatever hell else you can get with it.
Yeah. This has been a revelation. My eyes have been opened here. Fucking hell. No, you don't like McDonald's breakfast or the whole world like them? You like them, Lee? You a fan?
Yeah, no. I'm more of an hash. I like a good hash brown. I do. I've got
breakfast. You can go to a Toby Carvery and get £2 of bacon if you want.
Yeah, but you have to leave your house, don't you? McDonald's, they deliver it. Honestly, that's what. Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, they're on Just Eat now.
I know, but it's like £9 delivery, though, isn't it? Yeah, fucking. Yeah, I don't know. No, McDonald's breakfast. I'll stand. This is a hill I'll die on. Actually, I like them.
Yeah. So coming on to like chocolate bars. I mean, like the demise of. I was shocked actually. I never knew. And people say, well, if you were that bothered, you'd be buying them. But I don't really eat that much chocolate. I'm not a chocolate fanatic. As in, I'm not. I want a chocolate bar every day. Like Topics and Caramacs were discontinued in 2021.
Really? What, Caramac? Really?
Yeah.
Topic. Yeah.
Caramac.
Was that the one that had a hazelnut in every bite? Remember that? Was that the advert?
Yeah. Topics are tremendous. And I mean, what makes me mad are the British public. Because obviously then Topics weren't selling. And obviously I'm part of that reason. And I do love a Topic. But why are Whispers like carrying on as like a thing? Whispers are just shit, aren't they? They're just like a lump of chocolate. Really.
It's got holes in it and all. We get less chocolate for your money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like aero.
A Whisper's just whipped fat and sugar, isn't it? Really?
How on earth are people buying Whispers and they're not buying
above a Topic where you got squirrel shit as well as the chocolate?
Absolutely. Yeah. You make the case perfectly, John. It's a disgrace. I mean, what do people think there? What are they going to come for next? Picnics?
Picnics. Yeah.
Don't ever come for a picnic.
They'll be armed uprising, won't they? That's the thing.
Yeah. You got to leave the picnics alone and keep them on sale for sure.
A raisin and biscuit Yorkies had it as well.
I had 5 of those on Wednesday. That coincidentally, and they are. I only just discovered them, and they are tremendous. I heartily recommend raisin and biscuit.
They're about all there is left now, really.
Yeah.
And the final question, as always, he's got like a regular slot. We should have him on show, really, to ask it live. Samuel the cat comes up with these questions, and it's pretty good.
He doesn't work. That's all he does all week, isn't it? Come up with these.
I think so. Think of something kind of like, yeah. He says you were all offered £500,000 each. Wow,
Stop
that's
there.
a lot of money.
Stop there.
Stop there, right?
That'll do. Thank you.
But stipulations are
Oh,
you must never watch or bet on a horse race ever again.
stop there.
And this has to be strict.
Yeah, that'll do.
Right? Would you take it? Is the first
What
question.
the fuck? Of course I would.
Take it
No
out.
danger. Half a bar.
Yeah.
No misery,
Right.
no pain, no disappointment, and £500,000. Yeah, you're all right.
Do you know what's sad though? If you'd have asked me this question 6-7 years ago,
Yep.
I'd have said not a chance.
Yep.
That's so sad
Yep.
because the reason we started this podcast is because it's obviously a sport we all love
Yes.
and a lot of enjoyment from, and met a lot of fantastic people, a lot of bad people, but also a lot of fantastic people as well. And I
A
think
lot of fantastic bad people.
I actually felt emotion with this question because obviously it's what I've done all my life. I don't know anything else. It's like you're thinking, right, so all of a sudden on a daily basis you're going from watching videos, studying times, sectional, everything else, talking it, discussing it, and then you've just got to stop. It's probably harder than what we think it is.
But you couldn't win
to do it.
£500,000 now, Lee. That's what's giving you the reason to even think about it. You couldn't win that now. Betting the way.
The way I do, I've said before, I do it for a living. I've got no other external income other than a share of Patreon money that we take between us. And it's like, it's a case of, I've always paid my way doing it and I've enjoyed it, but I'm not in the top. I wouldn't class myself as like the top, like the Veach class, the Coos Racing Club class, the the Dan Gilberts of this world. If I've missed anybody out, I apologise. Andy L maybe. Listen, I've had a great life from it, and sadly, it is coming to an end. And there's been times of despair for me, but no one cares about me. No one cares. I mean, it's like you can have a gambling problem, and mind you, they just still don't care about them either. Gambling with lives, etc. They don't care. They don't care about serfs. They just care about funding. It's all a grift, as we know. But the point is, it's really sad because I'd have to give up something that I love and I've devoted time to, and I've put money back into the game by owning horses on my own. I have run syndicates as well, but point is, I had horses on my own, so I have helped the industry in a way by putting money into it to provide runners, to provide enjoyment for others, to bet on my horses or whatever. And that's the thing. So I've took pride from this. Sadly, I actually want to leave the game. I if someone offered me a sum of money to, like what Samuel the cat said, yes, I would. I'd snatch the hands off, and probably less than that as well, because
yeah, I was going to say.
I'm not going to reveal the amount I'd take, but I would take less than that, and that's really sad because I wouldn't have said that 6 or 7 years ago.
No.
I'd have just laughed at you because I knew it were possible to make a good sum of money on a year. Things went right. Now that's not the case. I'm working. I'll be honest. I work for bus drivers' wages. But yeah, I do probably twice the hours of a bus driver. Okay, I ain't got a boss and I ain't going to drive fucking cunts around all day. But the same thing stands. I have to do twice the hours of the bus driver, and I'll probably come out with a bit more than that if I'm lucky. You don't get paid off the WhatsApps, which is terrible. You do sometimes. One bet you might get paid, another bet you won't. So what's the point? And I kind of lose faith. So anyway, he goes on to say, chaps, if we all did quit, what hobbies would you do to fill the void?
Drugs. That's what I would do.
Recreational drugs.
No, I wouldn't be more recreational. I'd be very serious about it. Honestly, I wouldn't fuck around. I would do it properly. You're going to do it right. That's where my £500,000 would go.
I honestly don't know what I'd do, but I'd say one thing. If it wasn't in my life, I'm not really a massive people person in terms of turning up to big events and being around people so often. I suffer anxiety a little bit, so that's a kind of
UFO hunting.
Yeah,
think of all that time you could do that. I would do that.
I've got a passion, which is sky watching. I do watch, but I can't do it these days because of the demands of studying racing. There was a time when when I was in my younger days and I could have less sleep, that I would stay up till 3 a.m. watching the skies and seeing some rather bonkers shit up there. Yeah, it's good because I had military night vision stuff that I bought from America. But the hobby I'd choose would be fishing because you can sit in peace. You can, like, in probably a really tranquil, lovely location and enjoy the day and sit and relax and take it in, breathe some fresh air. So it'd be fishing for me. And I'd probably get a really good top fisherman to teach me, buy him a few beers and give him a few quid and so just teach me how to do it, will you? Do it right. I'd hate to do it shit. I'd just, get him to teach me fishing. And that's what I'd do. John?
I'd go and live in the woods in North America, and I would only eat the salmon that I could take off the bears in hand-to-hand combat.
Sounds a bit Unabomber to me, doesn't it? You? Ted Kaczynski.
I've just got an image, and John gives me images. I could just bear wrestling.
Ruby Ridge, baby. Yeah, big standoff with the FBI, gun battle.
Yeah. So actually, it's true though. I'm not saying all bears because some bears are like very aggressive, but if you actually stand up to a bear,
only black bears. Brown lay down, black stand up, isn't it?
Some bears do like fuck off, like it's kind of
Well, so I've seen the brown one in that John West advert. If you kick him in the bollocks, they're yours.
Cocaine bear. That's what we want. Hunting around for that gear.
John's film to recommend, Cocaine Bear.
Yeah, fucking brilliant film that is. All that like 10 tons of coke still not been found. Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah.
Chris, obviously you've mentioned your hobby.
Yeah. I'll be dead in a year.
Yeah. To be fair, that's not a bad way to go out, though, is it?
Listen, there are worse ways to go out. I genuinely think. I mean, you look at what society, what are people and young people got to look forward to, let alone people our age. You think, well, you might as well go out in oblivion, mightn't you? That's the kind of thing. I can't see any future of the sport. I just can't see how society's going to improve anytime soon. So let's just get fucked
that
up.
Volvo Estates I was on about earlier and go down go out in a blaze of glory, couldn't we?
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be like a geriatric version of the end of Young Guns.
Yeah, it would be.
Fun show to do this. I hope you enjoyed it, chaps. Me, John and Chris have. It passes an hour on. You sat with us in the pub. But some great questions. Thanks for that. And we're back next week. Bye for now.